All right, so we in here. Hey, folks, what's up? Welcome to this episode of the Pivot Play podcast. I am Jerry Thompson, and I am here with my guest, Nick Taylor. Nick, say hello.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me, Jerry.
Yeah, man. So folks who listen to the podcast know, like, I get all this information on folks, and I don't really read bios. But here's what I do know. I'll speak to what I know about you.
Okay.
So I know that you graduated from Florida A&M.
Absolutely.
Right, with a degree in business administration.
That's
I know
correct.
that you have a long history and experience and from a sales perspective.
Yes.
And based on what I read, you've done that quite successfessly.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And then you were one of the founding members of NSN, which is the National Sales Network.
Yes,
the St. Louis chapter.
Absolutely.
Okay. But then most importantly, you are the founder of Executive Cuisine To You.
Absolutely. That's my baby.
That's where we're going to go. We're going to get there.
Sure.
But before we jump into that, also let's talk about how we know each other. All right, and I'll give it to you from my perspective. I do like to enjoy the occasional cigar, and I found places like that to be just a great place to meet people, and primarily because if you're going to really smoke a cigar, it takes a minute.
It does.
So it's really more of a social thing. So you're going to be around people, hopefully really good people. You're having great conversation. And then even if you're not with those individuals, you can kind of look around the room. It's like, who's the cool people? Who's the good people? So
even when you're not with them, you're with them.
Right.
We're all in the same place.
Right. And we have people in common. So I've seen you. We've shaken hands. You've always had just great energy. I'm like,
thank you.
That's a good dude right there.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I felt the same way about you. And let me also get this right too, because I believe you professionally teach golf lessons too. Is that right?
So that's been one of my COVID ventures. Okay. So I've always been an avid golfer. So I've played competitively as an amateur, had some success there. But then one of my COVID ventures was the run off to Vegas. And so now I'm a certified teaching professional for golf.
Whenever I think of you, if for some reason that just pops into my mind, like, the golf guy, you know. So, and I know that you have so many things that you've done as well too, you know, from music producer to an IT guy. And now the golf guy, plus with the podcast. So I mean, you know, hey,
there you go. Hey,
it's well-rounded.
It's a lot of branches to it, but I think that you have some of those similarities. And so here's what I think is going to happen in this conversation, Nick. It's going to be like a mirror. That's some kind of thing. We got a favor. I wonder if we might be related. I went to do some checking here. Like, got the same kind of roundness to the nose, and absolutely. I see those cheeks. Like, you could be my younger brother. I don't know.
Hey, there it is. Hey, and what a great big bro to have, right?
Hey, but so here's the thing, though. So if your profile is correct, here's the reason why I know this is going to be an awesome conversation.
Okay.
Nick, when is your birthday?
May 4th, 1981.
May 4th, dog.
Bro. Are you serious?
Absolutely, man. May 4th.
Oh, man. Hey, listen, May 4th will never be the same, brother.
Never. And so here's what people don't know about May babies.
Sure.
And in particular, people that are born on the 4th. So it's funny, like we were having our earlier conversation.
Yep.
So that's what I said to you. I said, I'm going to tell you this, and so I'm not going to tell you till we're doing the episode. And I was listening to you talk. I'm like, man, this is like, can you listen to a mirror? Because I feel like I'm listening to a mirror, hearing.
That's all right, though, man. That's cool.
So I can run down the list of things. I'm like, are you strong-willed?
You know I am.
Do people ever call you stubborn?
All the time.
Right. Now, this is the one I really got to get. And folks, y'all have to catch up with us. So I have, I'm not going to call it OCD, but I do have this thing that once I'm on something, I'm on it.
Absolutely. Until completion.
Okay. So I'll give you probably a proper way to say it. People look at Nick and say, Nick is driven.
Yes.
Right.
That's,
right.
you know,
what they don't know is,
that's a nice professional way to say it, right?
Right. Yeah. You in your brain, you're chemically obsessed to just get stuff done.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
That's what May 4th is all about. Yep. People don't know.
Yep.
And they can't change their birthdays now. No. They want to be us. They can't be us, Nick. They want to.
And that's fine because I'll be honest with you, we're full.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the fourth is full. We can't take anymore. We're done.
Right. Well, we handling business anyway, so
That's it.
it's all good. So anyway, so let's talk about executive cuisine to you. Tell the
Okay.
folks what it's all about.
So, Executive Cuisine to You is a meal preparation and delivery service, and it's truly full service, full scale. What I mean by that is we all are trying to make sure that we're eating correctly. We want to make sure that we're eating clean. However, when you think about prepping meals and being healthy, it takes a lot of time out of your day. We all, as busy individuals nowadays with the world that we
Hmm.
live in, don't necessarily have the time to do that. And then even when you think of eating clean and healthy, a lot of times people are thinking of eating the same thing over and over again. And that's not the case. So I know that one of the things that I've had to do in order to make sure that I keep my body looking the way I want it to is continue to prepare these meals. But, just like so many people around the world, you get tired of eating the same thing. I love to cook. I have a strong passion of cooking. And so, with that being said, I started about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, just this whole meal prep thing for myself and, switching out different ideas, figuring out how I can actually truly be effective in the kitchen and make several meals so I won't get tired of it. Well, the hustle then grew, the passion, I should say, the passion then grew to a hustle when a couple of guys at the gym knew about me meal prepping and asked me to start prepping for them. So I figured, okay, this is a way for me to get free groceries. And one thing led to another, word of mouth. Next thing I know, I have a long list of individuals who are asking me to prep. And at that time, it was funny. They were like, "So what's the name of your business?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Meals by Nick or something like that." So, I just came up with something. And then I was talking to one of my really good friends and mentor, Eris, Chef Eris, and he was telling me to, he was just throwing different ideas at me, and we actually came up with the term executive cuisine to you. And so I also then realized with all of this, income now coming in, maybe I should really like turn this into a business. However, at the time, and this was about 2 years ago, so I
Hmm.
decided, okay, executive cuisine to you, here it is. We're going to make it a business. But at that time, I was still at the corporate job and, scared to necessarily really take that jump. So, just keeping it word of mouth, keeping it hush, and then also figuring out what my process should be.
Hmm.
Truly baby stepping this and making sure that I did it right. But, time went on. I've had the fortune of having people strongly support me. I've been able to actually bring employees on and, get driving services as well now too. And here we are. So we
Wow.
deliver. We deliver twice a week on Sunday as well as Wednesday, and we also switch our menu up twice a week. So that way, we're not only delivering you fresh meals that you can eat within 3 to 4 days, but also giving you a variety of new meals that you can always eat, so you're never getting tired. So once again, you can eat clean, and you're gonna have a variety, and it's gonna be delivered at your doorstep or even at your business.
Right.
So that's executive
So
cuisine to you.
so on the from the business perspective, so
Yep.
you mentioned like when you started this, one, you didn't intend to start this, right?
No.
But I think that some of the best opportunities come from our passions, just things that we naturally love to
Exactly.
do. And then other people take interest in it. And next thing you know, you have an opportunity in your hand, and then you get to make a decision about what to do with it.
You're absolutely
Uh,
right.
you mentioned some intrepidation or fear about, jumping out of the boat and doing
Of
it full
course.
time, and then you got pushed out of the boat. So talk
Exactly.
talk about that process.
So I was with a pharmaceutical company and I had been with them for almost 14 years. Then November 12th, 2020 happened, and I got laid off. So scary moment. But the thing about 2020, there were so many things that truly happened to me that were taken away from me in 2020 that I thought I couldn't necessarily live without. And from a spiritual aspect, I believe that, God pushed things out of my way in order for me to focus on the bigger vision. And so even when I did get laid off, I took time, I fasted, and I, prayed and asked, okay, so what should my next step be? Because once again, when you're getting the corporate America dollars, it's easy, it's comfortable, you have a certain lifestyle. So I really just wanted to go get another job and, keep executive cuisine on the side. But as I fasted and prayed, it was more revealed to
Right.
me that, hey, this is your time. I want you to go ahead, shoot your shot, and you will be just fine. And so I trusted what I heard, and here we are. And it's really doing well for me. I'm still scared,
Right. So
every
let's
day,
go.
Every
Oh,
day is a
and
scary
so
day, but
here's
I
the
love
thing.
it.
So there's a book it's called what is it? Like something like Face the Fear but Do It Anyway, or another called Eat That Frog First. It's all about embracing the things that are uncomfortable. Like that's not
Sure.
a reason to not do something because you're afraid,
Exactly.
right? Like, you mentioned golf. I've played in a lot of big tournaments,
Hmm.
and there's never a time when I'm on the first tee and I'm not nervous.
Gotcha.
I've gone through entire competitive rounds, and those butterflies are still in your stomach, but you find a
Yep.
way to push through and perform anyway.
Absolutely.
So, but one of the other things that I talk about quite often, I think is really important, and maybe because you may fourth, but there's just this creative streak,
Sure.
and people talk about, with cooking and food, the passion of it, the love of it, because I do believe that cooking is an act of love,
It
right?
is
Right.
definitely without a
Yeah,
shadow of a doubt.
we can come back to that, but let's talk
Sure.
about where creativity comes into it,
Sure.
right?
Uh, Great question. So, first and foremost, I'm one of the first generation born here in St. Louis, Missouri. My family's from the South. All timer, Pine Bluff, Arkansas, to be exact. We're all spread out now down the Texas area, California, and all that. But, just being around my family going down south, we had some down south eating growing up. So that's what I knew. I've always knew that love came from the kitchen. You always thought you were rich growing up as a kid because you always had great meals. Almost feels like, they were prepared for a king. And, don't get it wrong, as a youngster, I didn't really know exactly what I was embracing at that time, but, we were fed well and we learned that, okay, this is what Sunday dinner is supposed to look like. So then I graduate from high school, go away to Florida A&M. Mom and dad are thousands of miles away, and oh, wow, maybe I should start learning how to cook for myself, right? Because, you can't eat pizza and, McDonald's every night.
Right.
And I was very fortunate that some of my roommates, basically adopted me really quick, took me to their parents' house. We're all down south. They're showing me the ways of how they cook. And I'm just starting to really get, a love for this. And, they actually showed me how to make Caribbean cuisine at that time. So, fast forwarding on, it's just like over the years, I've been so fortunate to come across so many different amazing chefs, and they've, shared their different cooking styles with me. And also in the kitchen for me, it's like a place of peace where nobody can touch me. I feel very safe. It's just an amazing time. I can listen to my audiobooks. I can listen to whatever music I want to. It's just a do not disturb for Nick. And so, for me thinking that I can actually go here and make money doing this, it was a
Right.
no-brainer to me.
Right.
And I love it.
So have you had that sort of that um ever any anxiousness, like you work on a dish and you go to give it to somebody else for the first time and you're waiting
Yeah.
to see what their impression is? What
All the
how
time.
Yeah.
All the time. But you always feed your kids first, right? Hey, because the thing about I have two sons, Cannon and Grayson, and they're gonna be brutally honest, man. They're gonna let me know, hey, you know what, Dad? Yeah, give me some more of this, or this ain't it.
Just any
So there have definitely been some this ain't it trays, and
Right.
they will never see the day of light at Executive Cuisine to You. And then there's been some like, hey, Dad, you got something with this one, and that's what we've pushed out to the public.
Right. So that's what's
Yep.
up. And I think that what subtly was kind of in this is
Mm,
wanting people to understand that there's always going to be something that challenges you. There's always going to
absolutely.
be a reason to not do it, but you go
Sure.
ahead and do it anyway. Like I said,
Yes.
so again, we know I'm also a musician,
Right.
and as a matter of fact, the prior one of our prior episodes with the truly world class musician, and we were talking about how people have all this music inside them, but
Hmm.
they never let it out over fear of
Sure.
criticism.
Right.
Right. Now, I love to cook. I'm not hanging up any signs, right? We're not, I'm not I could come up with a small recipe. It might
Sure.
not be the healthiest stuff like what you're doing,
Right.
uh but I always tell people, because I just sometimes, like, I'll make like the big meals. Like, so if it's like Thanksgiving, Christmas, like that's when Dad's got the kitchen. But there's
Okay.
always I'll take stuff, other ingredients, and I always just make a dish. Just make it up on the fly. People say, well, why you do that? It's like,
Absolutely.
well, what? Why not? What's the worst thing you're gonna do? Throw it in
Off
the
the
trash,
cuff is some of the best things you can ever do.
right?
Exactly.
But what it's not like if I mess up a meal, they're not gonna come take me away in handcuffs. Just
No, they
just
won't.
mess up a dish, not
They
that
won't.
big a deal. So getting
Right.
people
Unless
to
your wife
take
is a police
those
officer, then
baby
you have an
steps,
issue.
yeah, we could have an issue there.
There you go.
Thank God
There
she's
you
not
go.
a cop.
There you go.
But getting people to take these steps and not to process things as failure, but rather as a learning experience.
Sure.
Right.
Yep.
So if your son say, Dad, that's not it, I don't mean you never make that recipe again. It's like, oh,
No.
does it need more of this, less of that? So
Exactly. You ask
talk
the
about that
questions.
for talk about the how you get feedback and then
Sure.
how you use that to go back and tune what you're
Sure.
doing.
Well, just like you said, you never lose, you learn. So, with that being said, you ask the questions. Even once my kids tell me, "Hey, Dad, this is great. We should launch this out," it's still a follow-up process. I worked at enterprise for a number of years, and one thing that enterprise always taught you is, the customer service, making sure that you're reaching back out to your consumer. So, okay, I have meals made. They're out the door. They're on delivery. They're now in the client's kitchen. You still need to reach out within the next day or two and just periodically check in to say, hey, how are you liking the food? First and foremost, I think it provides amazing customer service. They love that. It's a personal touch. You're actually, because the majority of my clients, I actually haven't even met. So, the only kind of conversation that we actually have is, me picking up the phone and reaching out. And even when I call them, they're like, oh, wow, hey, it's nice to, nice to speak to you. And so reach out, ask, hey, what do you think about it? What do you think about the process? How's the meals treating you? Is there anything that you would do differently? How can we make this good meal great?
Right.
And just, being okay to allow someone to call your baby ugly.
Right.
So that you can, make sure that you perfect your baby.
Right. Right.
Yep.
So you have, and I believe other people have, but I'm bringing this up because I would like people to do a little bit of self inspection.
Sure.
You have a inventory repository of transferable or transformable skills,
Yes.
right? So you just mentioned an example, from a prior employer. So talk about your background in sales, or as a business administration major, other things that you have done that have helped equip you to be able to launch, maintain, and grow
Sure.
Executive Cuisine to You.
Okay. And I think that's a great question. With the exception of getting in the kitchen and actually cooking, everything else about this has been because of transferable skill sets. So, first and foremost, being able just to get in front of individuals, let's say at the cigar bar that we go to, and letting them know, hey guys, I have a business, describing what it is. And asking, hey, is it okay, if we may have a one-on-one consultation so we can talk about your eating needs and we can see how we can help you eat better. Being able to also make sure that they're not telling you no until you actually hear the word no out their mouth. So don't be scared of actually, if somebody gives you a lead, go ahead and call. If you don't hear from them a couple times, keep reaching out until a person either says no or they actually want to purchase something for you. One thing I've also learned just being in the sales field is people naturally like to be told what to do. So the best thing that you can do is, instead of giving individuals options at times, tell them, hey, this is what we're going to do. I understand that you have this need for your health. I'm going to walk you through what's going to be best for you and your body type, so we can make sure that we get these goals. Does that sound right to you? They'll be like, oh, okay, that sounds cool.
Which is
Okay,
a
so let's
close, that's
continue.
a close, by the way.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Exactly. So, it's your ABCs, always be closing,
Right,
right?
right, right.
Yeah. And then, also even on the administrative on the back end, making sure that, there's an inventory, list there, also making sure that you're checking up. I have a personal, a PR lady who handles everything for me, and, making sure that we're doing everything administratively, as well as, the marketing piece that we need to do from day to day as well, too. So, there are so many things that you have to do. And I think the biggest thing that I really had to learn, and this is very simple, but every day when you wake up or even before you go to sleep, jot down at least 3 to 5 things that you have to accomplish that next day.
Right.
And then you truly are going to make sure that you're truly making steps into growing your business, as well as just making sure that you're keeping your head above water. Because there's nothing worse than being tired and knowing that, oh man, I didn't get this accomplished today. So, that's how I kind of equate, what's a good day or bad day, minus making sure that the kids are okay, is looking at my to do list and saying, okay, I got everything checked off that I needed, plus some. Today was a
Right.
great day.
There you go. And that's what we
Yep.
were talking earlier. That's the reason I say,
Sure.
anybody can sleep, but rest is earned.
Absolutely.
I can lay
Absolutely.
down, but if there's something that I know I was supposed to get to, and I know there's no good reason why I didn't get to it,
Hmm.
and there's been times I've laid down, Nick, and it's like, you know what, I got to get this done.
Yep.
Just knock it out, and then you just go and you do it. But I
You do
think
it.
that if you do that, if you apply effort to the goal, the dream, the vision, the mission every day, that's how you get there,
Of course.
right? If you don't touch your dream for a week, a month, then there's
You're
no
behind.
reason why it's not out of the gate.
Exactly.
So, and we'll leave this after this. But so who has influenced you from a sales perspective? Is any particular books
Absolutely.
or, you know,
There's a long list. So one person I definitely have to always mention, my big brother, Larry Blue. He's the guy who actually brought me into National Sales Network. He helped get me ready and helped me get my first pharmaceutical job. I got another mentor, Stephen Hill. You know, he's been at Microsoft for a while. He actually just left a few years ago and had opened up a fast signs franchise as well too. And
really?
the list definitely goes on. I have several mentors and individuals who I truly look up to. But those are my the go-to guys of if I really have a question, let me talk to these guys and run it past them and make sure that I'm doing the right thing.
Sweet. That's awesome. So
Yep.
what is the vision for
Okay.
executive cuisine to you?
Well, I'm glad you're speaking about that because I also have another great friend. His name is James Kelly. He's out of Memphis, somebody I went to Florida A&M with. When I first started to realize that, hey, this could really be a business, we sat down and he said, okay, so you want to make this a business? Explain to me how this is scalable.
Ooh.
Because let's if you're gonna make it a business, why be a mom and pop business? Why do something that's just locally? Like if you're gonna do it, let's do it, right? Don't you want to really like leave a legacy? And so the goal, the piece that I'm looking at now is how to properly scale this. One thing I've seen with this business is it does have a scalable model, and so I want to truly grow this out and see how far I can take it with scaling this and making it a nationwide business.
So, oh yeah, okay. It's got to be a May 4th thing
Yep.
because it is exactly right there. And you mentioned the word earlier. I don't know if it was in our pre-discussion or here
Okay.
in this interview. But I'll tell you this brief story. So when I came here to St. Louis, I left a
Hmm.
much smaller company. Like our entire company was, I think, 325 people, and I was coming, you in St. Louis to this large investment house
Hmm.
here in St. Louis to run essentially their network. So now you're talking about going from this tiny company where the total number of people I had responsibility for
Hmm.
was the size of the company I had just left,
Okay.
and my budget was equal to the revenues of the company I had just left. Right, and so
Okay.
I was speaking to one of my mentors about just kind of I was nervous, like that's a huge step up, and he just
Right.
said something so simple to change my whole perspective. He says you manage scale through process. Right. And so I know
Yep.
earlier you mentioned the word process. If you nail your
Sure.
processes, like if you can do it once and get a predictable outcome, and
Sure.
you can do it 10 times and get it predicted, and you can do it 100 times, you can do it 1,000, you can do
Consistency is
10,000.
key.
Right. And as you hit those steps, if your processes are correct, you may have to tweak a few things, but it shouldn't have to be, oh, we got to take this whole thing, throw it out and start over. If your foundation and your
Yep.
process is great,
Yep.
then you can definitely scale your business. And I wonder sometimes, 'cause I know people who have small businesses that are really successful. And it's like they never think about scale.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how long do you want to work in
Exactly.
this? Like, the whole
Exactly.
idea of not working in the business, work on the business, right?
Right.
And so that's the thing is, but getting people to have the courage to dream and think big.
Exactly.
Like I said, if you can do it in St. Louis, can't you do it in Chicago? Can't you do it in
Absolutely.
Atlanta?
Right.
So getting people to understand how you scale out, and that's really how you establish wealth. That's how you
True.
really, really perfect a brand.
True.
And then you might decide, I don't want to do this anymore.
And
You
sell it.
sell it. See,
Absolutely. Yep. Yep.
tell you,
And then
man,
start
it's
and
like,
start your new venture. And start your
and
new
it's
because
like from your side, Nick, it's got to be like looking at a really old mirror, looking at me on this side, right? It's
let's call it a season mirror. Let's call
a
it a
season
season
mirror.
mirror. Let's
It's
call
real.
it
No,
what it is.
it's dusty cobwebs over here. I don't know what you folks can't see that on the video, but it's
Yeah. And that's That's the beauty of it. It's as much as I love cooking. Look, I'm not going to be in this kitchen forever. And one of my buddies, James Kelly, what he told me is, yeah, that's cool that you love that. It's cool that you're passion, but you're now an owner. You're not an employee. Stop thinking with an employee mindset and start looking at it from a bigger vision as an owner. So what are we going to do? Okay, take your menu, take your recipes, write them down. Are they easy duplicated? Perfect, because now you need to hire cooks to go ahead and come in and duplicate, this consistently over so we can now scale. You got the menus out there. Now you need to focus on how we're going to market to the Southeast region. How are you going to market to, the Southern region? What are we going to do over here in the Northeast? And it's just about growing that business and truly, making sure that we have a strong brand that, when I'm said and gone, I did my best and I did exactly what I was supposed to do with it.
All right. So given that, from a logistics perspective and being able to, to really be able to address your customer base, and provide them with quality meals and things like that, what is your reach? How far can you go? It's from St. Louis out in a radius, I guess is what I'm asking.
So right now, I mean, we're just servicing, the St. Louis surrounding areas, St. Louis County, St. Louis City, as well as also we branched over into certain Illinois counties. The next thing I'm working on right now is actually the shipping piece. And, the piece of that I'm working on is there is a very pricey piece of machinery that I am going to purchase actually very soon that allows me to be able to safely ship these meals to certain areas of the country, and we're going to start testing out shipping very soon.
Ah,
So
I
that'll
love it.
that'll help the scaling process go
I love it.
sooner than later.
Right. And so I noticed something when looking at the website and the
Sure.
menus. I noticed that you have, calories, protein,
Yes.
uh, what is it?
So the
What else is in
macros, yes, your big macros are your protein, carbohydrates, as well as
there? Carbs.
fat.
That's what I couldn't think of. Carbs.
Absolutely. Yes. So, you to be very cautious and careful of what you put in your mouth. We live in such an easier world if people just looked at the nutritional labels when they flipped over and before they ate something and say, hey, you know what, maybe I should eat this. Oh wow, we should really put this back. How are these people still in business? But we don't. So one thing that we try to do at Executive Cuisine to You is make sure that you truly understand what it is that you not only that you're eating, but what are you putting in your mouth? How are we really fueling your body? And we have a lot of individuals who are learning to count their macros. For those individuals who don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine, but we know that's there. We also have an in-house nutritionist as well too, that we can make sure that, they sit down with you and with the scale of, how things are going right now, they can do it virtually and make sure that they
Right.
teach you how to eat nutritiously and how to count your
So
macros.
so how has the pandemic helped your business?
Well, the pandemic actually, it's funny. So initially, the pandemic beat me up because a lot of my regulars all of a sudden stopped coming or stopped ordering because they're like, I'm going to cook from home. But then once again, everybody's at home. So all of a sudden, I had this wave of brand new individuals. And the beauty of Executive Cuisine to You, like I said, we deliver twice a week. So I never had to necessarily shut down during the pandemic. I was, we were always up and rolling. And we just fought through it, got new clients and, especially once I started to go, full time with this, it just the gates, were wide open off of this. So it's going great.
All right. So what would you say are the principles that drive you?
Uh, that's a good question. And I think it's, at the end of the day, I had to really look at what do I stand on as a man, and I kind of look at the spiritual aspect of things. So I wonder, what is my purpose in life? And as of right now, I truly feel that God wants me to make sure that I'm taking care of our people, and I'm not just saying ours and African American, but our people as a whole, making sure that we're eating clean. I've been blessed with this way of understanding how to eat nutritiously, and make sure that I can provide these healthy meals. So spread the word by, making sure that people are eating well, putting these positive things in individuals' bodies. And so, and then also, when you think about principles, it's just like, don't worry about a quick dollar. Don't worry about a quick dollar because my big thing is I'd rather have someone, order 2 or 3 meals at a time from me versus somebody order, 15, 20 one time and never come back. So always quality over quantity, making sure that I instruct individuals on how to order and the amount that they need to order as well too. I have a lot of people who initially, when they come in, they want to order all these different meals, and I step them down some. I would love the business, but at the same time, I explain to them, listen, this is twice a week, okay? So I want your money, but I want your money for the long run. So let's do it like this. I
Right.
want you just to, slowly ease yourself into this. This is baby steps because what we're going to create is a lifestyle change for you. This isn't going to be
Right.
some kind of crash fad diet. And let's just, we're going to have you order on Sunday. We're going to have you also order on Wednesday, and we'll get that food to you too. So once again, not worrying about a quick dollar, but, focusing on how we can truly help individuals turn their life around and create a healthy lifestyle for them.
Right. And so here's what I find is just awesome, right? Because it
Sure.
really is about your value proposition. There has to be some exchange.
Sure.
Like I'm not a big fan of when people say, how much money do you make, or how much
Right.
money does a person make? I'm like, it's all about what they earned, and if you've earned
Yes.
something, that means that you've provided something of value to
Absolutely.
where there's a balance, there's a rightful compensation to doing those things. And
Sure.
so we're like 30 minutes into this conversation, and this is the first real talk about money, which helps
Sure.
me understand what you're doing is principles and value and
Yes.
purpose driven.
Yes.
It's about what you're putting out there, the good that it's going to do for people.
Absolutely.
Like they can buy meals from you, but if they're consistent in their healthy eating and exercise, then they can come off medications.
Exactly.
They just have a better, they just have a better quality of life. They're
Yes.
actually able to experience this wonderful planet that we have.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So there's so much good that can be done from a plate, right?
Yes.
And I think that that's awesome, but that it's not, a dollar first venture.
No.
It's like the money comes,
The money will
but
be
the
there.
value goes out first, right? The value
Exactly.
goes out first. People get to
Exactly.
experience the benefit, and with all that integrity, and then when they recommend, like you're in sales, this, like
Right.
the you get so much more from a referral than you actually do
Yes.
from direct marketing, right?
And then you got to
So
think about
go
this
ahead.
being with, that I sell healthy meals. My clients are walking referrals. So when you start to see someone lose that weight, and then, within 3 or 4 months' time, this person is very slender, it's like, hey, what are you doing,
What are you
man? What's
doing?
going on? Exactly. Even if they don't want to talk about it, now you have to talk about it. You have to talk about it. People want to know, like, why are you looking this good? What slimmed you up?
Right.
Executive cuisine to you.
Right. And I'm gonna see if I
Right.
can remember these from my sales training. But I'm saying this again. I know you know this because you have sales background.
Sure.
But for some of our people who have these great ventures, these great ideas, the power of a referral is if you get a referral, like you're now riding on someone else's credibility, that
Sure.
relationship they have. So a referral will buy in higher quantity, they will buy at a greater frequency, and they will
Absolutely.
buy with less resistance,
Exactly.
far easier to close. So you can get those three
Totally.
advantages by making sure that the people that you serve are well, they will tell other people.
Absolutely.
Pretty
And one
simple.
thing you also have to remember too, hey, listen, they're definitely going to tell about bad experiences. They may tell about good experiences.
Yeah,
So
what is
once
it? If they
again,
have a bad experience, they're gonna tell at least 7 people, I think is the
hey,
stat.
absolutely. And so that's why I focus on the quality to make sure that everyone has a genuine, amazing time with the ordering process, as well as also I'm reaching back out to make sure that we're doing things the proper way. Because
Right,
everybody truly loves, it's okay, yeah, we're eating clean, that's cool. But then the personal touch of reaching back out, making sure that you're sticking with what you've agreed to do for yourself, it goes above and beyond. And
right,
I'm very fortunate for all the individuals who I've had, help change their life, and I'm very fortunate also for those individuals who, are coming soon.
right, right.
Yep,
And they're coming, right?
absolutely,
They're
absolutely.
coming.
All I have to do is consistently do exactly what I've been doing, and it'll
Right.
be fine.
So we know that there are countless millions of people who've been impacted, right?
Sure,
Like their normal source of income has been interrupted, or it's been reduced, or it's been taken from them
sure.
altogether.
Hmm.
What are the lessons that you've learned from this? What advice would you give to other people who, for any reason, have been displaced or seen some interruption to their income?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, my heart does go out to you. I personally know how it feels. And for those individuals, the best thing I can always say is never count on one stream of revenue. You always are going to need multiple streams of revenue coming in the house, no matter how much, you're making here, or, how much they're paying you, whatever kind of business you may have, whatever that's making. What else can you do? Okay, what other stream of revenue can you make? Furthermore, also for those individuals right now who, are down and out, it's just a season. It's just a season, and you're going to get through this. So my heart goes out to you. If there's anything that, I can do for any of my clients who may be watching, who need anything, let's get it done.
Right.
Another
But
part of it is
go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm
Finish.
definitely, I'm definitely here for a profit, but at the same time, we're all people. We all need help at a time. So, if there's something that I can potentially do to help out, any of my clients, I'm open. Let's talk about it.
Right. That's what's up.
Yep.
So, but you mentioned when you got laid off, there's that first, that emotional reaction.
Absolutely.
There's fear. There could be like rejection. There could be anger, and
Yes.
so it's you were pushed into that, but then you worked your way out of it. There's some
Yes.
people who are spiraling in that though,
Sure.
and
Sure.
they haven't figured out how to. And those are really the people, because at that point, then you can become hopeless, right? And
Yes.
once you become hopeless, is any number of really unfortunate things
Right.
can happen.
Right.
So I was wondering, like, what can be said or done, because I let me just challenge you with this. When did you get a picture of the next possibility?
Well,
Right,
to
because
be
you have to
honest,
see something that's good that can come to move, in my opinion.
you're right. And for me personally, I actually saw this coming before it even happened. For something told me within 2 to 3 weeks before I even got the news of being laid off that, hey, this may be your time. And so what are you going to do? And so I had to challenge myself to start digging internally to even process, how I was going to handle it. I remember, about a week before I actually got laid off, thinking to myself and rehearsing how I would have the conversation with my manager, when he told me that I was laid off. And then when that time came, we had the conversation. I was never, mad at that individual. I was never actually even mad at the company that I was with because um, on the bigger scale, they gave me 14 amazing years where they, took great care of us. We had a great, um, they gave us a great package for leaving as well too. So I'm very thankful for those years that they've given me. And then once again, when you have a transferable skill set like sales, you just put yourself out there. You make sure that you're humble and you get back out there. LinkedIn is a great place nowadays to, get your name out as well as, find work. So one thing I can say is to those individuals who have gotten laid off, I'm sorry, but it's time to let it go and let's go ahead and get hungry and look for other things. Also, shameless plug for National Sales Network. That's exactly what National Sales Network is here for. So it's an organization of African American, but not limited to African American sales professionals. So for anybody who may be laid off, displaced, or maybe even working right now, but you're not exactly happy at the place that you are, I'd imagine you to reach out to I would encourage you to reach out to National Sales Network. You can go to nsn.org, nsnstl.org, and then just reach out to our membership, and we can make sure that we can tell you about all the opportunities that we have because there are several different openings at right now from several different top employers around the country that are looking for work here in St. Louis, as well as also are looking for employees around St. Louis, as well as also around the country. So there are so many different options. I understand that everybody has their issues, but there are so many different ways that we can help these individuals find the desired employment that they want.
Yeah, and
Better days
along
are
with that,
coming.
and I think that's a great plug. And
Sure.
the other thing is I'm encouraging people to sharpen your knives. Like I said, you kind of
Yes.
knew something was coming. You kind of start,
Yes.
it's like it's one thing if you know you have to run like 100-yard dash, you're gonna run it, then you're gonna start
Sure.
stretching, getting yourself warmed up.
Right.
If you just have to start running 100-yard dash, you might pull a muscle, right?
Yep.
And so it's
Absolutely.
getting people to get in front of these circumstances and these situations. It's like, start stretching it out, and
Yeah.
part of that stretching for me is exercising your network, right?
Yes.
And there's so many people that for some reason are asleep behind the wheel. They don't have a network that they can plug into. Like you've
Absolutely.
mentioned several times in this conversation of the people that you could reach to, who you reach
Yes.
out to, who could give you advice and mentoring and coaching and support, but a network has to be cultivated.
It
So
does.
what are your thoughts on the value of your personal network?
Well, first and foremost, I mean, when I look at my personal network, it's, oh my gosh, I can't even put a dollar amount on it. I mean, they're so amazing. And I actually learned a lot of my networking skills, another shameless plug, through National Sales Network. That's something that they teach all the time is how to network and not to just go up and just start speaking to people, but what's your value? Why are you here? What value do you bring to this conversation? And also to even have, the elevator spiel of, within 30 seconds, tell, who are you? What's your bio? Get that out. Why somebody should be even interested in having a conversation with you. So I truly encourage individuals to make sure that you take a look in the mirror, you understand who you are, you think about what you truly want to do in life. You also think about that, hey, you know what? Everything that we do is just a season. Nothing is going to be forever anyway. And get out there and just start introducing yourself when it makes sense, when it truly
Right.
makes sense.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. And speaking of that, when I see Benny, I'm gonna jump on him for not telling me about
absolutely.
NSN.
You
Like,
should.
Benny, what's up, man?
You should.
Thought we were cool. But
Right.
I mean, but networking, that's how we're here now, right? That's how
Yes,
we're,
exactly.
and
Exactly.
recent guest of mine, Stevie Coleman, was saying that that someone said to her that networking is just one letter from not working, right? So,
Man. Hey, man, that's deep. That's deep, and that's right.
oh
Yep.
man, it's just, and I wish that because what I often, and I know this has to happen to you as well, probably a lot of folks listening, is there's a slight annoyance sometimes, like when somebody calls you and they really are asking you an expensive question, but you haven't
Sure.
talked to this person, like you guys
Hmm.
don't have any real ties, and most of all, they're not prepared with any reciprocity. Like they've
Sure.
not really presented any value. And it's one, I know for me, it's a slight annoyance sometimes. It's like you do realize, like, we don't really get down like that. Like,
Right.
but it's not like if they were purpose driven, they couldn't be cultivating a relationship, just basic understanding, the idea
Exactly.
of just being cordial, because you never know. Like I
Hmm.
said, we see each other out. If you
Sure.
saw me across the room as a jerk, I'm like, be on my podcast. You like, I'm not even returning that call. That dude's.
Right.
I'm like calling
Right.
him.
But you know what? Here's another thing that I look at too, right? So one, first and foremost, when somebody's reaching out to you
Mhm.
and they're asking about maybe potential employment or whatever it may be, it took a certain amount of humility and humbleness for them to even come and ask the question. So
Yeah,
first and foremost, I look at it like that. Even though we may not associate on that level, I hear them out. I listen to what they're looking for. If I know that what they're looking for not necessarily may be attainable at this time, I try to give them at least a nice step, a nice organizational step of how to possibly get there, and link them with some individuals who can, maybe bring them up to speed so that they can be qualified for exactly what they're looking for. But I very rarely, if at all, ever just brush somebody off.
yeah. But so I will point you to a process, right?
Sure.
I may even point you to an opportunity, but
Okay.
I won't point you to my network until I vet you.
That's true.
Right, because there goes my
That's true.
credibility with that, right? I'm not just
Absolutely.
gonna be like,
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna get
Right.
you to, and I just posted about this because sometimes people are asking you really expensive questions and don't realize what
Yes.
what they're doing.
Exactly. And the thing is, even when they ask for, can you put me in this? Are you even ready for this? Is this really what you want? Because you're gonna embarrass yourself if you're really not ready.
Yes,
They're
I'm
gonna look
gonna
at me
vet
and
you.
like, yeah, they're gonna look at me and say, Nick, who is this guy? But furthermore, you're actually blackballing yourself in so many ways because a lot of times, you only get one shot. And
Yeah,
depending on what that is, man, you might not be able to come back from that. So I think it's always important, like you were saying too, before you even get out here and start, just shamelessly asking this person or that person this high value, a high dollar question, make sure that you're really ready for this.
right.
And
And that's the thing. I always test them, Nick. Like if you
yep,
ask me something like that, I'm gonna
sure,
ask you to do something. It might be something small, like
sure,
call me on Wednesday between 10:15 and 10:30.
yep.
Or send me your resume by blah blah blah. And if you can't
Hmm.
check that simple
If
that
you can't
simple
do
box,
that, right?
I'm not taking you to the back room.
No,
I'm not doing that.
no. But I wish you will. But I
I
wish
wish.
you will.
Hey, I hope it works out for you.
I know you're gonna land on your feet. That's it.
So before we go, I've held you long,
Sure.
dude. This has been amazing. I really appreciate it. Again,
Yes,
it is
sir. It's
kind of
truly
like
been a
looking in it.
pleasure.
It's like a little bit of a mirror. We got a lot in common. I
Absolutely.
think it's that May
Yep.
4th thing is
It
coming
is.
through.
I got
Maybe,
contacts in. I wear glasses too. So I mean, we really are looking in the mirror. I'm telling you, man.
but no. I wish you much success, and we need to connect. I need to
Absolutely.
understand like more personally, like
Sure.
what's going on with executive cuisine. I might be in your delivery zone. I don't know.
You're definitely
Um,
in my delivery zone, without a
okay,
shadow of a doubt.
okay.
How about that? We go, Jerry. We'll make sure we take care of you.
And I'm picky. I'm just telling you now, I'm picky.
Not a
That's what
problem at
people.
all.
I've been referred to as high maintenance. I don't believe
That's
it. I
fine.
don't think it's true. I just have
That's fine.
standards. That's all. It's just
And
standards,
there's
man.
nothing wrong with that. There's
There's
nothing
nothing
wrong with that.
wrong with that. So
Absolutely.
let me ask you this on the fitness tip real quick. So
Sure.
you're a workout guy,
Yes.
right? So are you more cardio and strength? Or are you more strength and then cardio? What works best for Nick?
So that's funny you asked that. Historically, growing up, I've always been the weight guy, right? You going in there, skipping the cardio, lifting heavy weights. I actually had a period of my life where I helped train bodybuilders, and I was a lot bigger back then. So right now, I am more of a stretch and cardio guy, although I do continue to, use weights. Getting to the age that I am now, there's no real reason to be the big guy in the room. Who wants to walk around big and bulky? That's not where it's at. I mean, to be honest with you, man, just as obesity can cause a lot of issues, having too much muscle on your body as well can also, have some type of comorbid effects on you as well too. So it's always good to make sure that you're doing something that's truly, pumping oxygen and pumping blood into that heart. So I would definitely say cardio heavy. Now, here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you this. Yeah, I do work out a lot, but I actually hate working out. I'm gonna put that out there. I don't like it. I don't like it, but I know I need to look a certain type of way, especially with owning this meal company. So
Oh, you
what
got
I've
that
done
right.
exactly. So
Yeah,
I
you
actually
can't come
have.
schlepping around here with your
I
belly
cannot.
hanging over your
I
belt.
cannot.
We can't have that.
I cannot. Another shameless plug. I have a personal trainer that comes to my house 6 days a week, 7:30 in the morning. And he can also do the same for you. His name is Kevin Patrick. Or we also have a Zoom call where we work out. We have several people from around the country who are on this 7:30 Zoom call, and
Oh,
we work out for about a half an hour, 7:30 Monday through Friday, and then 10 a.m. on Saturday.
wow. How about that?
So,
How
you
about
know, it's just one of those things where, you know what, I know that, especially in this whole pandemic, am I really going to go to the gym? Even if the pandemic wasn't happening, am I really going to go to the gym? Am I going to force myself? Maybe not. So I've had to put things in place to make sure that I get this done. Just like we do in business, you have to do certain things
right?
in your personal life and, have other people maybe take over. Just like how people have me take over for their meals, I need to have somebody take over for my fitness to make sure that I'm getting it done.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting. Before the pandemic hit, I was really big into kickboxing things. So I was doing it three, four
Okay,
days a week. Then
absolutely.
I had a gym membership. I'd go over there if I
Sure,
wanted to do some weights, and it was
sure.
probably I felt like some of the best shape I had ever really been in. Then the
Yes.
pandemic comes, and it's like, so first we waited it out, right? Like I
Right.
know they said 2 weeks, right? We going back in 2 weeks,
Yes.
and then 2 weeks was a month, and and then
Yep.
people out here were wilding out. It's like, well, I'm going. So I'm just now in the process. Like I got some equipment that's on the way, so I can get back to
Sure.
more of that kickboxing regimen. Like I have a full-fledged gym that I
Sure.
have done full-fledged, not enough of. I've tried to watch more of what I eat. So I
Right.
figure if I can still fit in my clothes, I can't be that bad. But I know I
That's
need to
true.
move. I need my muscle. The golf season's coming back around, so I'm about to jump back
Absolutely.
into. So you mentioned stretching.
That's
Is
it.
it more hyperbolic stretching? Like what are you doing from a stretching perspective?
Hey, you know what? So my trainer's name is Kevin Patrick, and that's a question that you have to ask him because he's the guy who stretches me out. When it comes down to that piece, I'm not ashamed to say that. You know what? I honestly don't know, but
It's all
he
good.
takes us he takes us through a routine, and he's amazing. He's truly amazing. And then also, I know you said you have a full gym, which is awesome. Kudos to that. But even with Kevin, we use our body weight. So all you really need is a yoga mat, and he's going to get it done. If you need to, well, I know now it's a little chilly to go outside, but even if you want to go into the garage, you don't want to have somebody in your house, or once again, he can do it virtually for you too. So it's
Right.
very easy, and there's no excuses. Let the weights be on the way. In the meantime, Jerry, we can still get to work and make sure that you're doing what you need to do. And
That's
if you're
what's up.
very interested, from me to you, brother, I'll make sure that we give you a couple free sessions just so you can test
All
it
right.
out, see what
That's
you
what's
think
up.
about it.
That's what's up. And by the way,
Absolutely.
I don't like to work out either. Let's just throw that out there. I'm
Exactly.
just like you. All
I
these
don't,
people
but it's got to get
running
done.
around hitting about the gym is my drug. I got to find another
No,
way to get high. Working
exactly.
out is not my drug.
Gym is not my
I
drug.
do it because I know that I have to, right? And
Exactly.
I challenge
Exactly.
myself, and I do feel a sense of accomplishment when it's done. But I
Sure.
never want to. I
No,
never. I'm like, I can't wait to work out again. I just know
exactly.
that I need to. So anyway, before we go, how
Sure.
how can people reach you?
They can reach me at Executive Cuisine to You on Instagram, Facebook, Executive Cuisine to You, the website www.executivecuisine to you, and those are several different ways how you can contact me.
Appreciate it. All right. So again, man,
Absolutely.
I truly appreciate it. This was as much fun as I thought it was going to be.
Hey, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, man, I love what you're doing. So folks,
Thank you so
please
much.
check out Nick, check out Executive Cuisine to You. All right. And
Greatly
remember, the
appreciate it.
project on the table is your life. If you don't work on it, no one else will. Peace out.
Thank you.